Hey there and welcome back to another Miraculous Ladybug Season 4 review. Today we'll be diving into the latest episode to drop, Mega Leech, which saw the debut of our latest Miraculous hero, Polymouse. We start off the episode with Milene in the bathroom psyching herself up, telling herself that she's not afraid and that she can do this. We then see her approach Ivan, who for once is respecting a woman's right to privacy in the bathroom, and is holding a bunch of signs that look like they're for a protest. After a little bit of cutesy talk where Ivan tells her she's getting better at conquering her fears and they exchange their pet names of Teddy and Little Mouse, they have a smooch and the scene moves on to Marinette's house, where she's attempting to sleep in only to be interrupted by the loud noises of construction vehicles outside her house. And my god do I know those feels. There's literally nothing worse than being in the middle of a good dream and then suddenly you hear some random truck drive past or hear power tools start up. If I was her, I'd seriously consider using the horse Miraculous to portal them away somewhere inconvenient, although I doubt that would be very heroic. Making her way to the balcony, she witnesses the mayor talking about his brand new anti-pollution initiative, the Oxygen Project, which appears to be a giant tower that I guess would be able to suck up polluted air and release it as clean air. At least that's what I expect it is. It's then revealed that this is the project that Milene and Ivan are protesting against, loudly yelling to stop the Oxygen Project. And of course, since the mayor is a kind and rational representative of the people, he approaches these two teenagers and asks them why they disagree with his proposed plans. And here's their thoughts on how things could be changed for the better. Nah, he actually threatens the chief of police into detaining them and taking them home. Now, I'm not an expert in French law, but I'm pretty sure you can't just do that. They're in a public space, they're protesting peacefully, and they're not really disrupting anything besides the mayor's speech. The mayor truly is the most corrupt piece of trash, threatening a police officer into detaining a bunch of teenagers. Taxpayer money at work right now. Also, I can see where Chloe gets her tendency to abuse Sabrina's friendship from. I wonder if these two were also school friends. What a lovely family. And just as the car's pulling away, we see that Marinette's witnessed everything and is considering transforming into Ladybug, which, whilst noble, what's she gonna do? Use her super strength to stop the car and beat up the cop? I feel like you couldn't get away with that kind of thing. It's a good way to go from beloved hero to enemy of the state in a flash. Before she can decide what to do, however, she's called back downstairs by her dad to go to school, where she arrives just as her name's being called. And by the way, this kid needs to get on a serious sleep schedule. I swear in every episode she's in her pajamas or is running somewhere after having slept through half the day. And I get that this could be because of her hero work, but if it is, it always happens off screen. Because 9 times out of 10, the hero work we see is in the middle of the day. So why is she going to sleep at unreasonable times? I get that teenagers aren't renowned for waking up early, but seriously, it's getting to the point that she relies on her hero work to even wake her up at all. If there were no villains to disrupt her slumber, she'd probably sleep forever, I swear. She then reveals that Officer Roger had taken Milene and Ivan home when they were protesting and blocking an excavator. And Alia realizes that they must have been protesting the plan to revitalize the park into the Oxygen Project, which aims to breathe new air into Paris. So yeah, it's probably a massive air filter or a carbon catcher type thing. And the highlight of this little scene was Kim whispering to Max asking what revitalizing means. Come on, dude, you're what, 15? Jesus. And this information causes their teacher to go from her usual kind and caring mother hen type of character to an angry mama bear with the flick of a switch. And this would be the time, if I was the police officer, that I'd begin to panic. Because when you manage to make the most calm and serene people angry, you know you done goofed. And by the way, isn't she meant to be pregnant? In the New York special, she's meant to be expecting a child and therefore can't go on the trip. Then throughout the season so far, we've passed through the summer holidays as referred to in Queen Banana, and now they're back in school. So, a lot of time's passed. Has she already had the baby and is back at work? Or are we just going to ignore that plotline and pretend it never happened? Anyway, she decides to call up Officer Roger, reams him out over the phone in front of the whole class, including his own kid, and orders him to take them back to the park where she'll pick them up. Doesn't request, doesn't ask, orders. How is this dude a police officer of any relevance at all? He seemingly has no spine and just listens to whoever yells at him loudest. Sabrina's father indeed. And then, to prove what an enormous chad she is, Miss Bustier tells the whole class to leave school without permission of the principal or anything, to go to the park and get hands-on civic education experience, whilst Alia live streams the whole thing. Cutting back to the park, we see the mayor surrounded by photographers and film crews about to cut down the first tree in the park, with what I guess is a firefighter handing him a chainsaw and hard hat and telling him to go for it. So, is this really a good idea? Those trees are pretty big, right? Could they not fall on somebody or fall over the fence and hit a car? Is this the right time for a huge crowd of spectators? This kind of thing is surely best done by trained professionals, not a civic official. It's not like he's cutting a ribbon or planting a tree or laying a foundation stone. This is serious business. People could get hurt. If he was opening a new hospital, would we put him in scrubs and have him perform the first operation? Although, on second thought, I would watch that episode. Anyway, it's at this point that Miss Bustier and the class turn up and she starts calling out the mayor, on live TV no less, asking him how cutting down a tree is going to revitalise the park. At this point, Ivan and Mylène start protesting again, causing Officer Roger to reveal that he had in fact listened to Miss Bustier instead, and brought them back, causing the mayor to loudly threaten him by holding his salary over his head. On TV! And yeah, fair enough though. Not saying what he's doing is morally right, because obviously it's not. But if I was a corrupt politician, I'd be annoyed if my thugs disobeyed what I told them to listen to some random teacher instead. As Roger goes to detain them once more, Miss Bustier further reveals more of her Chadley ways and steps in between them and orders him to stop. All the while, Officer Roger has an internal crisis about whose orders he should follow. And there has to be some sort of genetic component that makes him and his daughter such pushovers. I wonder what the mum's like. Judging by the types of people these two are drawn to though, I shudder to think what she's like. Mylène then yells at the mayor, telling him that his project is both unethical and anti-ecological, which prompts the mayor to play a little instructional video for them all to watch. The video reveals that City Hall's banded together with the biggest investors in Paris to create a giant tower that will take in polluted air. And yes, that sounds good to me. And then convert it into clean air. And that's also very good. And then sell it in containers. And this is where they lose me. What? How did... What? Look, this is a very funny concept and I'm not bashing the script. But from an in-universe perspective, this is legit the dumbest idea I've ever heard. What a terrible waste of money! It probably costs thousands of dollars to plan this, and I'm guessing millions upon millions to actually build the tower. And then what? They expect people actually going to fall for this and buy it? Why would they? You've already extracted the polluted air from the air. They can just go outside and, what do you know? Fresh air! What an embarrassment. Fire the mayor. He's an idiot. And why would Gabriel fund this? And you better not say it's because he's trying to get somebody akumatized. What a waste of time and money, mate. Just key somebody's car and save us all some time. He surely knows that nobody would actually buy this trash. And what if nobody says anything and nobody gets akumatized and it just lets the tower get built and he has to fork out huge chunks of his fortune? Would he just let it happen? This is probably the smoothest brained idea he's ever had in the show's run. I truly can't think how you could top this one. It's truly a masterclass in stupidity. Anyway, in other news, Marinette's determined to continue to embarrass herself by openly staring at Adrian, who makes an appearance in the mayor's little ad, saying he's so gorgeous, while standing next to him. And considering I'm already heated about the canned oxygen thing, my patience for her is at an all-time low. This kid needs a permanent minder. Stop your creeping. But anyway, back to my rage at canned oxygen. For some reason, everybody in the crowd is acting like having to purchase clean air is in any way a reasonable proposition. Maybe Gabriel is actually onto something, if this is the average intelligence of his target audience. I'd forgive someone like Kim saying stupid things like this, but come on, even Max, who's supposed to be smart, who invented a sentient robot, is smiling and nodding his head. Kill me! Mylène, recognizing, like I do, that all her friends are idiots, tries to tell them that they're getting sucked in by the clever marketing and the project is not sustainable because it will chop down trees. But let's be real, there's like 20 trees in the park. Somehow I doubt they're doing much in the battle against climate change, or in keeping Paris pollution free. Maybe she should circle back to selling oxygen being ridiculous. That's the true crime here. Mylène then starts to get a double verbal beatdown from Chloe and her dad before Marinette steps in to save the day, tricking them into admitting that selling air in plastic bottles would just pollute the ocean instead. What an idiot. Why would he admit to this? He had the crowd on his side, and all because he doesn't listen to what some kid's saying, he outs himself completely. I mean, it's obvious he's an idiot and probably doesn't even understand the concept of the project itself, only the monetary gain. But seriously, fire this man. How was he elected? He's so clearly corrupt and stupid, it hurts me. And then the crowd finally turns against him and his stupid idea. And Mylène tells him that his solution's misguided and that you can't solve all your problems at once with one strategy. You need small solutions to take care of the problem at the same time. Which, of course, is going to be foreshadowing of the mouse being small and beating up the villain at the same time with his power. I guarantee this. Although this line was actually pretty cool and ties the episode together well, so good writing. Marinette then asks why Mylène and Ivan never talked about this before, to which she responds that they actually did and nobody listened. Awkward. What good friends. Anyway, the mayor, in all his glorious wisdom, decides that instead of taking a moment to breathe and think, that he should just take the chainsaw and go nuts on a tree. And so Milen, Marinette and the others step in to protect the trees whilst Alia streams it on the Lady Blog. And how famous is the Lady Blog? Because she goes live, and not only is her sister watching, because yeah, that's fair, family support, but Marinette's mum, whilst at work, decides, oh, Alia's streaming, I can't miss this. And so does Milen's dad. How random. I hope that Alia's getting that AdSense money. Also, I'm guessing Nora's babysitting for her parents, and she just leaves. Yeah, I'll be back later, gotta go beat up the mayor, kids. And Marinette's dad turning up with his bread paddle as a weapon is next level. This is getting out of hand. Also, I do have to revoke Miss Boustier's Chad level a little bit. Despite being all about Ivan and Milen getting justice, I clearly see her in the background, not standing in front of a tree like the rest of the class. Disappointing. At least Alia's filming. Miss Bustier is all talk. And then Adrian joins in and his fan club materialises out of nowhere to help protect the trees, whilst the news channel puts the mayor in the hot seat about how this has been a massive fail. And then we cut to Gabriel, who's watching what's going on. But not on the news, on the Lady Blog. Seriously, at this point, the French media should be throwing money at Alia, asking her, begging her to have her blog on their website or something, because it gets those clicks. Even billionaire supervillains watch it. Like, he was working. You can see Photoshop or something in the background with the colour wheel, and then he saw the notification pop up that should be live, and he checked it. He checked it. You know what this means? He's a fan. I don't care if he's looking for info on Ladybug, he's still a fan. Gabriel Agreste exposed. Then the mayor calls him up and begs for help because, you know, this is their joint project, and old Gabe just tells him to deal with it, hangs up, and smirks. Please no. Please tell me this wasn't an elaborate ruse to akumatize him, please. Gabe? Gabe? It was, wasn't it? Why go through all this effort and literally millions of dollars? I mean, literally millions. If you didn't realize how rich the Agrestes were, you do now. He literally risked wasting millions of dollars for the sheer opportunity of being able to akumatize the mayor to get 2 pieces of jewellery from some teenagers. There you go. He's that rich. Anyway, the media keeps hounding the mayor, talking about how the population has spoken, even though 30 people max are protesting, but okay. While Shadowmoth takes this time to send out an Akuma and a Muck. And good. When he only sends one, it feels like he doesn't even want to win. So the mayor gets akumatized and amucked, transforming him into Maledictator, and creates a senti-monster, Mega Leech, that swallows him up and spits out thousands of miniature versions of him. They can enter into people's ears and brainwash them into obeying him. And that's not terrifying at all. Nope. Anyway, the majority of the mob gets converted pretty quickly with no chance of avoiding it, except our 2 main heroes, because, you know, plot armor, and start smashing up the park, with them somehow managing to kick down what looks like to be a pretty sturdy tree. And just as Milen's about to get got, Ivan does an epic hero save and takes the proverbial bullet, allowing her to also survive for her hero moment later on. We then cut away to Adrian, who transforms and then proceeds to do nothing at all, getting pummeled by the mini-me's and calling out to Ladybug to come save him. I'm starting to notice a pattern with his usefulness in the last couple of episodes. Spoiler, he has none. Marinette then attempts to transform in a random alleyway where she's discovered by Milen, who suggests that they hide in the sewer. Ugh, what is with these kids and sewers? Marinette, trying desperately to ditch Milen, tries to tell her that she's scared of sewers, to which Milen tells her that she's afraid of the dark, humidity, germs, and mice. She was also too afraid to protest, but she found her courage and was able to do it in the end. So climb your ass into the sewer, Marinette. Milen then gives her a badge off her top and tells her to hold it for courage. And this was actually pretty sweet. You don't see much of her character, but she seems like a very nice person. In order to ditch Milen after they get into the sewers, Marinette then pretends to get possessed by a Maledictator, causing Milen to run off screaming. And then Tiki gives her a judgmental look. Listen, Kwame, there are literally millions of mini Napoleon-looking psycho dudes out there possessing people, and you're angry about this one little trick. Sure, it was a little nasty, but she was running out of options. Get those priorities straight, Tiki. Yeesh! Anyway, Marinette transforms into Ladybug and escapes the sewers, arriving just in time to save Cat Noir from getting taken over by the mini-me's. They manage to catch one, and Ladybug uses her lucky charm to create an ice skate to cut open his little sash and release the Akuma. But whilst this creates a little unakumatized mare, it doesn't actually stop everything. They then realise that since there are millions of clones, there's going to be millions of Akumas, and thus, instead of one solution, they need multiple small solutions. And I knew that line was going to come back and be relevant. I knew it! Cat Noir, firmly positioned in the script as a sidekick at this point, judging by his role this season, is then sent to distract the enemies whilst Ladybug goes off to enact her plan. And before anybody says anything, yes, I understand it's most likely intentional that he's getting sidelined to cause a rift, but to be honest, when you're watching at a snail pace like we are, it becomes very awkward and you can't help but be annoyed on his behalf. We then cut to Milene, who's alone, crying in the sewer when Ladybug finds her. Milene tells Ladybug that she should leave her because it's Milene's fault that this is all happening, that she's the reason the problem occurred, whilst Ladybug tells her that she isn't the problem. She's the solution. She then tries to give her a Miraculous, only to be instantly rejected, with Milene telling her she's too much of a coward, with badges to help her fears, and a necklace to help with her fear of badges. Really? A fear of badges? Ladybug tries to cheer her up, telling her that she's already a superheroine because she fights her fears and overcomes them every day. And then she gives her the Mouse Miraculous. And look, I get it. You need the Mini-Me power-up. But this girl's already told you she's afraid of mice. Maybe it would have been a better idea to unify them instead and use it yourself. Oh well. And then the Kwame even trolls her by appearing right in her face and loudly yelling boo before cackling as she cowers behind Ladybug. Harsh, Kwame. Mullo's a jerk. She then powers up and her suit's pretty decent, honestly. One of the better new hero designs, I think. Before Ladybug gives her the ice skate and off they go. They then arrive at an enormous fan which is seemingly blowing air out into Paris. Sewer air. Do these things really exist? I'm not going to claim to be well versed in sewer design, but surely this would be blowing foul smelling air at people. Hope you don't live nearby. Ladybug then tells her to jump into it and use her power to make Polymouse to fight the maledictators. And first of all, this is a pretty dangerous instruction for any hero, let alone one you literally conscripted 5 seconds ago. No one in their right mind would do this without question, let alone someone who's scared of everything. Now we know why she didn't unify the Miraculous. Selfish Ladybug. Anyway, thankfully it works because that would have been a very, very depressing end to the episode. The Polymice then begin to absolutely pummel the Mini-Me's and gradually start to free the mob of their mind control, leaving a horde of millions of tiny mares pondering their life choices. Ladybug arrives to help out Cat Noir, only for it to be revealed that he was mind-controlled off-screen. Sidekick indeed. Anyway, Ladybug once again gives him busy work while she assembles the team, handing out the Miraculouses to all her sidekicks. Except Kim, because yeah, his powers suck. And Alia, which is interesting considering the events of Optigami and Sentibubbler haven't happened yet in this episode. And Luca, but he wasn't even there. His power's actually good though. Viperian supremacy. Anyway, the team assembles and they do their Avengers rip-off pose, which Cat Noir is late to the party for, before they team up to take out the villain. Pegasus creates a portal for Vesperia to dive through to immobilize Mega Leech with Venom, whilst Ryuko uses her Wind Dragon power to suck up all the Akumas and Amucks, and Carapace steals them in his shelter so Ladybug can purify them all. And then, Polymouse brings back a Lucky Charm so Ladybug can reverse all the damage. So, all the heroes did something, except Cat Noir. Nice! Also, the heroes didn't even really interact or anything. Would it have hurt to add some lines or team banter? Anyway, the team fist bumps and they all go to intimidate the mayor to convince him to halt his project whilst also giving him a charm, before everybody goes home. Hooray! We then cut away to, I guess, later that day where the mayor's already backflipped and announced they're planting more trees. Guess that committee of experts is pretty efficient, or Gabriel pulled the funding because his plan failed again. After some more premium cringe from Marinette, Adrian gets home where his dad confronts him for defying him, punishing him by sending him to his room. Is it the best you've got? Yikes. Learn to dad. Also, he ominously rubs that ring of his. Suspicious, that's some Chekhov's gun right there. The episode scheduled right before this is literally entitled Gabriel Egress, so this is some serious red flags right there. They wouldn't show it if it wasn't going to be relevant again somehow. At least, I hope not. And then that brings us to the end of the episode. And I thought it was okay, but apart from a new hero being introduced, it felt like filler, with complimentary Cat Noir getting shafted hard. And I also felt like the team up at the end wasn't really needed, but overall it was pretty fun and I enjoyed it. But that's just my opinion, and now I'd like to hear yours. What do you think of the episode? Like it? Hate it? Make sure to leave a comment and let me know.